Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Even the screen is also visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
I will request all the students to stand up for ICAI motto song.
य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति य एष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता 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 एतद्द्वैता.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of the virtual seminar on bank branch audit conducted by Vikasa Pimpri Chinchwad branch jointly with Satara, Sangli and Solapur Vikasa branches of WIRC. Now, I would like to welcome CA Rushikesh Wangde, Vikasa Chairman, Vikasa Satara branch of WIRC to address our audience.
Thank you, Siddhant. First of all, I would like to welcome all the students for this very wonderfully articulated program on bank branch audit. I take this opportunity to welcome CA Pawan Sharma sir, our today's speaker, and CA Vaibhav Modi, the person behind this program, who has wonderfully designed this whole 2 days program. Thank you, Vaibhav sir, for taking this painstaking efforts and arranging this whole program. Students, bank branch audit is very fun, very important aspect in the CA members work profile, and bank branch audit is very rewarding as well as challenging task in the whole portfolio. Now we have to complete the whole task within the limited time of 7 days to 10 days, and for that purpose, planning and having knowledge, updated knowledge is very important, which you have already learned how to plan, etc. in the yesterday session. So to get updated, and today's topic is IRAC norms. So IRAC norms and LFR, which is the main crucial report. जो हम सारा काम करते हैं वो आपने किया है या नहीं किया है, वो प्रॉपरली कम्युनिकेट करने का जो साधन है, माध्यम है, that is long form audit report. And to know more about long form audit report, today's Pawan sir will guide you very fantastically through this. So with this short intro, this is the about the session. We want to let you know that we are there for you. आपको जो भी इश्यूज है, जो भी क्वेरीज है, आप हम विकासा टीम से, सातारा विकासा, पिंपरी चिंचवड विकासा, विकासा के स्टूडेंट्स मेंबर्स, कमिटी मेंबर्स है, उनसे आप हमसे कम्युनिकेट करेंगे तो वी विल बी ऑलवेज देयर फॉर यू, एंड वी आर जस्ट वन मैसेज, वन फोन कॉल अवे, एंड वी विल बी गाइडिंग यू थ्रू द होल प्रोसेस. With this, now I request MOC to carry on, please.
Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome. Now, I will introduce our today's speaker, CA Pawan Sharma. He has done qualification in ACA, CA, CS, DSA by ICAI, and BCom. Talking about his certificate courses by ICAI, he has done certificate course on concurrent audit of banks, on preventing of Money Laundering Act, on forensic audit and fraud detection, and he is also a qualified independent director. Others, talking about his other achievements, they are he is a qualified CS and he has achieved second rank in the Pune city. He is one of the youngest professionals to complete CA and CS at the age of 21. He is also a CA and CS faculty at all levels at Unique Academy, Pune. He is a direct tax faculty at various MBA colleges in Pune. He is a volunteer and teacher for Art of Living. Talking about his bank audit experience, he has experience in statutory audit of two nationalized banks for 6 years and statutory audit of two cooperative banks for 4 years. He has also done concurrent audit of 20 plus nationalized banks since 7 plus years and concurrent audit of one district central cooperative bank since 3 plus years. He has done revenue audit of 10 plus nationalized banks since more than 6 plus years, stock audit assignments of 30 plus borrowers assigned by 5 plus nationalized banks and cooperative banks, system audit of 3 nationalized bank branches, and quarterly limited review of 5 plus nationalized bank branches since 5 plus years. Now,
Siddhant is on mute.
sorry, sir, was I not audible?
Little bit. For last
you
one.
You can start from now. Now you are saying something.
Okay. Sorry for the issue. Now I will introduce our today's speaker, CA Pawan Sharma. Talking about his qualifications, he has done.
Oh,
You have already
I think
introduced.
you were saying about.
Actually, sorry, I'm confused. What I have missed? Actually, I have introduced and I have said now I will request sir to begin with the session.
Yeah. Sir, what a multifaceted personality, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your warm introduction. I hope audio video is all clear. Whether screen is also visible, I'll start the screen. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I hope everything is working fine. I hope we have shared this link with YouTube or with the BOS.
So with both, we are also live on YouTube and we have shared it with BOS as well.
Okay. So actually, just why I'm asking, because from where we'll be getting the question and the questions related to this sessions. So I need to confirm that.
The students who have joined on Zoom, they can directly ask their questions through chat.
Okay, then. Very good. Now with this introduction, I hope Pimpri Chinchwad, ICI, Satara, Sangli, Solapur, Vikasa branch of WRC, everybody very well organized this sessions for 2 days related to bank branch audit. The day one was related to entire planning. Point number two, the audit approach and the advances part. I hope day one was attended by almost all the students, right? So now with this belief, we can be excuse me. Yes. Day two will be the technical session related to asset classification, LFR and practical case study, right? I hope you are very well aware about the basic part of the bank branch audit. Right now we'll be focusing majorly for statutory audit, right? This will not be a discussion for control audit because the parameters for control audit is altogether different. When we are talking about statutory audit, the content will be different, the approach will be different. As the introductory part, they have already said that it's a time-bound manner. It has to be done. It has to be completed within time-bound manner, right? So we need to complete at least one branch example, like within 3 to 4 days. Hardly we have, generally banks allot 2 to 3 banks to one CA firm. So tentatively, you complete all the assignment within 10 days. So hardly you get 3 to 4 days per branch. This is the tentative range. If you are not having a team, then you will have to complete this within 3-4 days. If you are having team, then you can divide the branches according to your the team, the building, whatever, right? So what are the deliverables in this? The deliverables are statutory audit report, LFAR, tax audit report, certificates, and MOC. Correct? MOC stands for Memorandum of Changes. Deliverables means what it is expected from auditor side. Means the banker who is appointing you, the statutory bank branch audit, he is expecting that you will be delivering the statutory audit report, will be independent audit report. Next, LFAR report. Earlier, the LFAR format was totally different. Now the LFAR format is totally different. Means the number of questions and the amount of impact it has, it's very well increased, right? So our checking part is also increased for that matter, right? Point number 3 is the tax audit report. Why I would like to point out this tax audit report is because there are some banks who ask for it, and there will be some banks who will not ask for this. Example, SBI. If you happen to get the SBI statutory audit, or let's say if you are doing the statutory audit in your firm, your principal, you are joining with the team, then generally SBI don't ask for tax audit report. And whereas other banks are also asking for statutory plus tax audit report. So you will have to check whether you're required to submit this or not. This will be there in your sanction, the appointment letter. Point number 4, certificates. Certificates will be the additional deliverables along with your audit reports. Like example, I mean to say, let's say PMAY is the additional certificate. So generally banks ask for 30 to 35 certificates. And to be very frank, the certificates are not true and fair view. It's true and correct view, right? Why I'm telling this? Because statutory audit report signing, you will be writing the word, whatever I have done, I can clearly specify that the financial statements and the records documentation are showing true and fair view. But when you are signing the certificate, it has to be true and correct. Means there is 100% absolute assurance when you are signing the certificate. This is the basic difference between these two. Next, MOC, Memorandum of Changes. Memorandum of Changes matlab kya hai? Ki, let's say you are signing the balance sheet, because you can't change anything in the balance sheet. You are proposing the changes through MOC. Example, let's say your advances as per bank branch financial statement is, let's say 100 rupee. Now in your case, you want to show this advances to, let's say 120, right? Now, how you will change this? By showing this 20 rupee addition in the MOC part. Right? This MOC format we'll see at the later stage, right? We'll have a detailed discussion. Whatever changes you would like to propose in the financial statements, that will be through MOC, Memorandum of Changes, because we can't do any changes in the balance sheet and profit and loss account of the bank. Are you clear up to this level? I hope everything is working fine. Should we move ahead? Yes. Now the first part. Now I'll directly go with the advances part of SMA and then NPA categories. Because we have a limited time, we have to complete everything. There are a lot of discussion related to LFR and case study, so will be needing time related to that. Right. So the first part is SMA. SMA stands for Special Mention Account. Siddharth sir, is it working fine? Should we go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, sir. Everything is fine.
Okay. Special Mention Account, SMA. Now, you must be knowing there will be two categories. First is the normal accounts, that is called as standard assets, means those who are performing. Performing means what? Whatever, let's say, example, PNB Bank has given loan to, let's say, Siddharth sir, okay, for ₹100, and the EMI is, let's say, fixed as 10 rupee. If Siddharth sir is making the payments of EMI properly within time, every month, then this account will be considered as standard asset. Correct? If Siddharth sir, let's say due to some reason, let's say makes any kind of default for continuous 3 months, then only this account will be turned into NPA. Then whatever the clause which are applicable for NPA categorization, that we'll see later. But now the part is SMA. SMA means the category of standard asset only, but standard asset is also divided into two parts. Standard asset means the normal performing asset, and the second category is SMA. When in SMA, you mean to say that this account needs more highlight. Let's say Vijay Mallya sir taken the loan from SBI. Vijay Mallya sir ने starting में तो payment properly किया, और fourth EMI से थर्ड EMI तक प्रॉपर पेमेंट किया, टर्म लोन से उन्होंने लिया था। टर्म लोन मीन्स सिंपल, आपने अगर एक स्पेसिफिक पीरियड के लिए लोन लिया है और उसका EMI मंथली बेसिस पे फिक्स्ड है, EMI इंक्लूड्स द प्रिंसिपल एंड इंटरेस्ट, राइट। तो ये जो अमाउंट पेमेंट करने वाले विजय माल्या सर फॉर लेट्स से 3 मंथ्स, सॉरी फॉर द लेट्स से 7 years, या इनका टेन्योर है पूरे लोन का, तो इन्होंने स्टार्टिंग में तो पेमेंट किया, बट आफ्टरवर्ड ही स्टार्टेड डूइंग द डिफॉल्ट। लेट्स से 1 महीने का EMI दिया नहीं, उसके बाद में फिर से EMI दे दिया, second time again he paid, third time again he is not making the payment, so there is irregularity, right? Right now he is not NPA. NPA means non-performing asset, that will be there after continuous 90 days, after continuous default of 3 months, right? That will see later stage. Right now we are talking about SMA. When we are talking about SMA, first condition, the account should not be NPA. First thing, the account should be in standard asset. Third important point, in standard asset, there are weaknesses. There are weaknesses. Weakness means what? Let's say the default is there for more than 1 month or more than 2 months, but it should be less than 3 months, right? So when you are talking about the SMA category, there are SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. How bank classifies this? Basis for classification. When bank thinks that Vijay Mallya account is not in NPA right now, but still need more precaution from our end. It means what? बैंक को properly follow up लेना है, बैंक ने इसको एक probable NPA category में डाला है। SMA means a kind of probable NPA. Why we are saying probable NPA? It may go in NPA in future. Right now it's in standard asset. So with this belief, bank classify this under SMA for special mention account, means probable NPA. So if the principal or interest payment not overdue for more than 30 days, but account showing signs of NPA strains, then only there are RBI circular related to early warning signals that we'll see later on. Early warning signal means what? I'll show you the details. This is the RBI circular given on 7th May 2015. At the end of this circular, you can very well verify the early warning signals given by RBI. Default in payment to bank or sundry debtor and other statutory bodies, raid by income tax, sales tax, central duty, underinsured or overinsured, invoices devoid of TAN and other detail, dispute on title, funds coming from other bank to liquidate outstanding loans, delay observed in payment of outstanding dues. Like these are the technical difficulties which is faced by the borrower, which are resulting in defaults. But right now it's still standard, but there are signs of weaknesses that it may slip in NPA in future. So bank need precaution. For that matter, bank classify this account in SMA, right? Are you clear up to this? So SMA 1 category is overdue from 31st day up to 60th day, means up to 2nd month. And if the overdue continues for more than 2 months and up to 3 months, then it will be considered under SMA 2 category. Are we clear up to this level? We'll now shift to the NPA classification, the most important topic of the discussion, right? So point of NPA is non-performing asset. It's an asset classification category. So I have already said the category are two, standard and non-performing. Standard means the account is not NPA, not overdue, and it's regularly making the payment of principal, EMI, interest. When we are talking about EMI, the NPA, there must be some overdues, either with related to principal or with related to interest, or non-submission of stock statements, or non-submission of documents for renewal. Renewal is due. CCOD limit, which is given by bank, is not renewed. We'll be checking all the parts one by one at a later stage. First thing, this NPA categorization is done by the RBI circulars on the basis of Narasimhan Committee recommendation. Point number 2, intention for proper disclosure of profit and loss and reflect the financial health of the business. The bank is declaring NPA so that the position of the financial statement can be understood in a proper way. Otherwise, what will happen? Let's say bank has given a loan of total 100. Out of 100, there are 20 rupee loan, which is considered as NPA. But if bank doesn't show this in their financial statement, what will be the presentation? The presentation is 100% standard asset. The reader will understand that All the accounts are standard, means all the borrowers are making the payment regularly. So it will give a misleading picture at outside world. The reader will not come to know the real position of the bank. So this is why NPA are disclosed by the bank. Otherwise, there will be a misleading information. And the, let's say, whenever you're talking about the share market, now everybody is doing the trading or investment as far as banking stock is also concerned. So let's say I want to go for SBI share purchase. What I will check, first of all, I will check the financial statements of bank. I will also check what is the gross NPA percentage, what is the net NPA percentage of the bank. If these percentages are at a minimum level, then only I'll go for investment. Let's say you happen to verify two banks. If you want to compare SBI and PNB, let's say SBI is having a 10% gross NPA and PNB is having, let's say, 5% NPA. What you will prefer? Obviously PNB. Why? Because the NPA percentage are less as compared to SBI. It means the financial position of PNB is much better than SBI. This is for the example. In reality, it's totally opposite, right? Are you getting what I meant to say? Hence, it is for the better presentation of the financial statements. Point number 3, it's for accounting on cash basis. What do you mean by cash basis? There are two types of accounting, cash basis and accrual basis, right? Banks generally record the interest due on accrual basis. Means, let's say bank has given me a loan of 100 rupee. I have to pay 10 rupee EMI every month. So 10 rupee includes interest payment, right? So bank will debit the interest to my account, irrespective of whether I make the payment or not. And bank will classify this interest income in their profit and loss. Once they transfer this income to their profit and loss account, it means it's added to their income. But RBI says that once the account is turned into NPA, it means there is a doubt on the recovery of the amount of principal as well as interest. When the doubt is on principal and interest both, you should not classify the interest income in your books of account. It means what? Bank will never record the interest receivable from the NPA borrower. Why? Because RBI is saying that if your doubt is there on recovery, then you should not ask and record for the income which is doubtful right now. Once it is standard, means let's say the Vijay Mallya account is in NPA and he makes the payment, entire payment of whatever outstanding is there. Let's say 100 out of 100 payment, whatever outstanding, entire payment is done by Vijay Mallya. After the upgradation from NPA to standard, like there is two category. First category is NPA and second category is standard. Means once the account is turned into NPA, it will be recorded on cash basis. Once the entire outstanding payment is done by the bank, the borrower, then only account will be transferred to standard. This process calls as upgradation. Upgradation of account. What do you mean by upgradation? Once the account is turned from NPA to standard, now the advances is performing normally and as per the standard norms. Hence, then we can record the interest on accrual basis. Means we can show interest receivable. When the account is into NPA, we can't show interest receivable. Simple, right? Point number 4, reversal of interest which is not recovered. Means what? If interest is not recovered from the borrower, correct, for whatever unpaid period. Let's say you have turned the account into NPA on 1st January 2021. I'll give you the case study. The account NPA date is 1st, let's say 1st January 2021, right? So sorry, right now you are doing the audit of 2021-22. So let's say this is the date of NPA. Now what you will check? You will check the NPA date first of all. Point number 2, after this date, there will not be any interest debited to this account. Point number 1. Point number 2, whatever interest which was there for pre-NPA phase, if it is still not recovered, if the answer is no, then whatever the interest which is unpaid by the borrower, it will be reversed. Means what? Unpaid interest for pre-NPA phase will be reversed. Simple. And after the NPA date, obviously there will not be any debit to the particular borrower account. Are you clear up to this level? Next one. Classification of asset on the basis of period of non-performance. Obviously, because the classification of advances, let's say the non-performance is up to 1 year, then it will be substandard account. If it is more than that, then it will turn into doubtful. It will be in doubtful for a particular time. After that, if bank looks after the advance as loss asset, then only they will transfer it as a loss asset. So there are three basic categories of NPA: substandard, doubtful, and loss. Under doubtful, there are three different categories: doubtful 1, doubtful 2, doubtful 3. That we'll see later on. So this classification of asset is on the basis of non-performance, how much period the NPA account is having, and the security value and its realizable value. If the securities value is less than 50%, then it will be directly transferred to doubtful asset. Otherwise, generally what happens, if the account is standard and the account starts showing the signs of overdue for more than 90 days, then it will be first transferred to the substandard account. The first category of NPA is substandard, correct? But if, let's say, the security value of the particular advance is less than 50%, then it will be directly classified to the doubtful asset, not substandard. And if the securities value is less than 10%, and if the bank thinks that the recovery probability is very low, then bank can directly transfer the advances to the loss asset directly. Means direct jump can be done to any category, but reverse jump is not allowed. Means what? Let's say you have already transferred the account to D1 category, doubtful one. Now bank wants to reclassify at a previous stage of, let's say, substandard, means the first level of NPA. Can bank do so? No. Reverse classification is not allowed. You can go ahead with second stage or third stage directly. That is allowed. Means, let's say, first category of NPA is substandard. After that, D1, D2, D3, and after that loss. If bank directly wants to go for classification of account from standard to D2, can bank do so? Yes. Can bank directly transfer the standard to loss? Yes, possible. If fraud is reported by the borrower, if fraud is detected by the bank, correct? Let's say Vijay Mallya case or Nirav Modi case, it was standard, but let's say fraud detected by the bank, that all the documents were given as false document. There was no security was there only on paper. No physical security was given by the bank. No charge was created. Whatever the reason, if bank gets the reasonable assurance that there will not be any recovery of security, and the security whatever is given by the borrower is totally fake, then bank can directly classify that account into loss asset. Generally, loss assets are those assets which are fraud in nature, or the recovery is 100% considered as will never be recovered. Then only in that case, banks classify this under loss asset. Up to D3 level, they can classify the advances. Means doubtful 3 level. Even in doubtful 3, the provisioning is 100%. Means whatever the outstanding balance in doubtful 3, the provisioning will be 100, and in loss will also be 100. But once the account is considered as loss, it means 100% provision plus recovery will never come. This is the surety bank is giving to the financial statements reader. But if the bank is classifying advances into D3 category, bank is showing that still there are chances of recovery. Even though we have made 100% provision to the outstanding balance of the particular account, still we have the probability that we may get the recovery. So D3 and loss asset are, as far as provisioning is concerned, it is altogether same. There is no difference at all, because the provisioning of the advances outstanding balance is almost same, but only the presentation makes the difference. D3 is showing that still recovery can be made. Loss is showing that the recovery is 100% impossible, almost impossible. Hence, we have carried this account into loss category. Are we clear up to this level? Siddharth sir, it's going fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The NPA norms. What is the NPA norm as per IRAC? What do you mean by IRAC? IRAC means income recognition asset classification. It is dependent on the loan types. First point is the term loan, second CCOD, third is agri. So we will be classifying this account under this category, and NPA classification is different from category to category. Means term loan NPA rule alag hai. For CCOD, the rules for NPA are totally different, and for agriculture is totally different. So you can't apply one rule of one category to another category. RBI has given different set of rules for different categories. For term loan, if the account is overdue, the account is treated as NPA if the interest and or installment, means what installment includes principal and interest both, right? If interest or principal plus interest are overdue for more than 90 days, then it will be NPA. Continuous 3 EMI not done, over. Correct. Next, CC and OD. CC and OD, CC means crash credit, OD of the same nature. Generally, how banks operate this, you must have seen the CCOD nature yesterday when the advances part was discussed by the first faculty. I'll again give you a brief. CCOD generally given with the drawing power limit. Drawing power is calculated with the stock, book debt and creditor. Correct. Generally, banks take into the calculation of stock. They deduct the margin. Generally, the margin is 25%. Let's say stock is 100 rupee. Margin is 25, which was deducted from this. Then 75 rupees is the drawing power with respect to stock. And when you are talking about debtors, they will take the amount of debtor. Let's say 500 is the debtor value. They will deduct the margin from this. Margin is, let's say, 40% from debtors. So we deduct the 40, let's say 200 rupee. Then 300 is the available DP from debtor segment. So with this, 375 is the DP of this borrower. After considering the entire stock, the entire debtor, correct? And the margin deducted. But now in this calculation, the creditor was not considered. If the sanction term says that creditor will also be deducted, means what? Generally, if the stock is having the total composition or total of unpaid stock as well, then unpaid stock will be deducted. Means what? Whatever the stock which was purchased on credit basis, for which the payment is yet to be done by the borrower to the sundry creditor, then it will be deducted. So in that case, what will happen? This 75 rupee, then again, if the sundry creditor's value is, let's say, 20, this is the sundry creditor's value, then net 55 will be the DP from stock. If at all there is sundry creditor. If there is no sundry creditor, only then this 375 will come as DP. Means only the stock and debtors and whatever the margin which is prescribed in the sanction letter, that will be deducted. And net drawing power will be given to the borrower. It means what? Up to 375 rupee he can withdraw from the bank. Up to 375. If he is doing more than that, then the account will be considered overdrawn. There is a technical word difference. When you are talking about CCOD, the word which will be used is overdrawn. And when you are talking about the term loan, the word which will be used as overdue. Because overdue is related to the term loan EMIs. And when you are talking about the overdrawn part, it means that it's the CCOD account, which is showing that overdrawn amount. Means the limit given was 375 in our example, and the account balance of this particular CC account is, let's say, 400. So there is a 25 overdrawn. 25 rupee overdrawn. Simple. Are we clear up to this level? Yes. So CCOD account operates in this fashion. The bank gives the DP, and by way of DP updation, bank follows a system of stock statement. Every month, the borrower will be submitting the stock statement to the bank. They will do simple thing. They will calculate this. They will feed the data into the system, and DP will be calculated. And accordingly, the limit will be given to the borrower. Simple. So this is how banks monitor the account. If the stock statement is not submitted for a continuous period of 3 months, then also the account will be classified as the overdue account. And if overdue position is considered for more than 3 months, then at the end, it will be classified as NPA account. So if it means that if the stock statement is not given and continuous 6 months are done, then also the account will be considered as NPA. Even though the account is having the credit balance or the account is not having any overdrawn amount, still, if the stock statement is not given for continuous 3 months and plus 3 months are also passed, so 3 plus 3, total 6 months are done from the date of last stock statement submission, then the account will be classified as NPA. So in our audit, we will be going for statutory audit in April 2022, right? First week of April. So that time you can check this pattern with just ask for the list of CCOD accounts to the banker. Banker will give you the CCOD account list. Let's say 20 accounts are there. So just ask them how many accounts stock statements have been received by the bank. Let's say you happen to see that out of 25 accounts are non-submission, are the accounts where the non-submission of stock statement is there. Now check with the last date of submission of stock statement. If the stock statement is not given after September 2021, means what? September 2021 के बाद अगर आप months count करते हो, so October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March. So continuous 6 months are done. If in last phase, last 2 quarters of the financial year, if there are no stock statement submission, then it will be considered as NP account as on 31st March 2022. Are we clear up to this level? Right. Next, in case of CCOD, the account will be considered as out of order for a period of more than 90 days. So mean same चीज, ऊपर भी 90 है 9 टर्म लोन के लिए, नीचे भी CC के लिए 90 है. But the most important point is 90 for this is the EMI overdue, either interest or principal plus interest. But in this 90 days is the overdrawn amount, means out of order. Means the CCOD account was supposed to be within the DP. And if the account balance is more than the DP means the drawing power, which we have calculated just now. If the account balance is more than the drawing power, then it will be considered as overdrawn. And if the overdrawn position carries on for more than 90 days, then it will be considered as NP account after the cumulative period of 90 days. Right? Next, an account is treated as out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of sanctioned or drawing power, that we have already seen, the limit which was sanctioned or the drawing power which was given by the bank to the borrower, let's say 100, and the account balance is let's say 120. So this 20 rupee overdrawn is for more than 90 days. Then after 90 days, it will be considered as NP. Point number 2, though the outstanding balance is less than the sanction limit, means sanction limit or the drawing power was 100 and the account balance is let's say 85 only. So it shows that it's still within the limit, but no credit continuously for more than 90 days. This is the most important point. If borrower has not made the payment of interest, means interest is being charged by the bank every month, but still even after charging the interest, the account balance after the charging of interest is still within the drawing power. So there is not technical overdrawn, but interest is not served by the borrower. If interest is not served by the borrower for more than 90 days continuously, then account will be considered as non-operative. And in that case as well, it will be considered as NPA. If continuously 3 months interest is not served by the borrower. Point number 2, and the credits during the aforesaid period are not sufficient to cover the interest debited during the same period. Now this is the most important point. Let's say Jan, Feb, March. Total of all this, let's say 100 rupee interest was debited by the bank. And out of this 100, borrower only paid, let's say 80 rupee. Is it NPA or standard? What is the answer? Is it an NPA account or a standard account? It is an answer is NPA account. Why? Because this account has not served the entire interest. Means what? If 100 rupee entirely paid by the borrower, then account will not be NPA. Even if single 1 rupee of total interest debited in that particular period, let's say Jan, Feb, March, you will verify the credit of Jan, Feb, March only from the same period. So you have to verify the period Jan, Feb, March interest debited and the receipt of interest in the same period. If it is not covering the interest which is debited by the bank, then it will be an NP account. If it is covered, then it's a standard account. Simple, right? So the point 1 is if the overdrawn is more than 90 days continuously, it will be NP and CCOD account. But if it is still within the limit, means the account is not more than DP or CC, still it will be considered as NPA in two cases. First case is the outstanding balance. There are no credits continuously for more than 90 days. Means the account is not operating. For last 30 days, 3 months, means last 90 days, there are no credits in the account. Only debit is happening. The borrower is not getting money from any payment, any sundry debtor. In that case, the account will be considered as NPA. Point number 2, and the interest, whatever debited by the bank, is not served by the borrower. Simple. Now next, NPA IRAC now. Yes, NPA and IRAC now. For the agriculture part is totally different. When you are talking about a short duration crop, it will be considered as NPA only after overdue of true crop season. Crop season definition is given by RBI in this 2004 June 24 circular. There are different categories of crops, and the classification is also done accordingly. You have to see the account properly first. What is the crop? And then you have to see what is the overdue period. If the overdue is more than 2 crop season, then it will be considered as short duration crop. Then it will be considered as NPA for short duration crop. And for long duration crop, if the overdue is more than 1 crop season, then only you will consider this account as NPA. So for this matter, you will have to see the RBI circular plus the sanction letter, which is the crop, what is the overdue period, then only you can think of classifying it under NPA. Correct? All done? Then asset classification. What are the NPA categories? First one is standard. I have already covered this. Standard asset means regular in making the payment of interest and interest. There is no overdue at all. There is no overdue. Even if, let's say, 1 month overdue or 2 months overdue, it will still not be considered as NPA, but still it will be added in special mention account, SMA, which we have covered in the first stage. After that, this is the first category of NPA. What is the first category of NPA? Substandard asset. If the loan is NPA up to 12 months, means what? We'll go with the example. Let's say account was sanctioned in 1st October 2005. The account turned into NPA, let's say on 1st October 2010. Correct? So 1st October 2010, this is the NPA date. First time the account turned into NPA. So this account will be in substandard category up to 12 months. Means what? Up to 30/9/2011. Means this 12 months, this account will be in substandard category. This will be transferred from substandard to doubtful after completing 12 months. So means after this date, next category of doubtful. Now the doubtful category means second stage of NPA. First stage of NPA is substandard. Second stage of NPA is doubtful. Doubtful first category is DB1. DB1 means doubtful 1. If the substandard asset is more than 12 months, means after the account of NPA for more than 12 months, first category DB1 for 1 more year, means total 24 months now. Means 1st October 2011 to up to 12 months, means 30/9/2012. This account will be in DB1 category, doubtful 1 category. Correct? After that, it will again shift to DB2 if the NPA period, if the NPA phase is more than 24 months now. So over 24 and up to 48 means more than 1 year and up to third year, this account will be considered to DB2, doubtful 2 category. After that, DB3 category. So if the doubtful assets are more than 3 years, means the account is in NPA health for more than 48 months. After 48 months, the account will be considered as doubtful 3, whereas 100% provision is needed. It means that entire outstanding balance का बैंक ने 100% प्रोविजन कर दिया है, मतलब बैंक ने उतना अमाउंट का लॉस बुक कर दिया इनडायरेक्टली. करेक्ट? The provisioning is different from standard, substandard, doubtful, and loss. For loss and DB3, the provisioning is 100% same. But in DB1, DB2, and substandard is different. That we'll see later on. Next, asset classification for loss category. Once the account is turned from doubtful to loss, due to as identified by bank, internal auditor, external RBI, if the loss asset, because the borrower is having the security with very less salvage value or almost negligible or almost nil, you can say, means 100 rupees outstanding, there is no security available for this part. Whatever security was given, now the salvage value is, let's say, only 1 or 2 rupees, means hardly any recoverability. So better to classify this account into loss asset. 100% provision, and bank will never consider this account as a recovery option, right? But in DB3 category, up to DB3, bank will still go for recovery as much as possible. In respect of accounts where the potential threats to recovery because of erosion in the value of security, means the security which was given by the borrower, the value of that particular security is very low now. Means, let's say the security which was given, let's say, for 1,000 rupees. Now the security, right now the market value of that particular security is very low, almost negligible. So they can directly classify this account as loss. Or the fraud by borrower that we have already seen, that we have already discussed. If fraud reported or value of the security is totally eroded, in that case, it will be considered as losses. The account should directly be classified as doubtful or loss, irrespective of the period for which it is remained an NPA. Means what? That we have already seen. Bank can directly classify this account from standard to loss. There is no need to go to substandard or doubtful category, then loss asset. This is there for normal cases. If it is the fraud case and banks think that there is no recovery option available to us now, then bank can directly classify this account to loss asset. Are we clear up to this level? Next. Upgradation of account that we have already seen. Bank can do the upgradation from NPA to standard category only if whatever overdue was there, outstanding was there, overdue part is 100% recovered. Even if they paid 99%, still it will be an NPA in NPA category. The borrower has to make the payment of 100% overdue amount, not 100% closing balance. Closing balance 100% देगा, तो पूरा account ही close हो जाएगा ना. So we are not asking for the account closure. We are asking to the borrower that whatever overdue amount is there, just pay that. Then only we will be classifying your account from standard, from NPA to standard. Correct? Only if all overdue are adjusted or at least reduced to a period of less than 90 days. Uske niche la lenge. 90 days ke niche. Then only we'll be considering your account into standard category. Upgradation within NPA category is not permitted. That we have already seen. Right? Upgradation within the NPA category means what? Bank wants to transfer this loss asset to doubtful now or doubtful to substandard. Reverse mechanism is not allowed. You can directly jump on and reverse is not possible. Right? This we have already seen. Next part. Other points of consideration for NPA. Now this is the most important point that we have already discussed about the stock statement. If the stock statements are older than 90 days, temporary deficiency and becomes NPA on 90 days thereafter. Means what? This is the 3 months period example, and this is 3 months. So total 6 months. I have already seen. I have already told you that if the stock statement is not given after September 2021, then it will be a NPA as on 31st March 2022. Why? Because for more than a period of 6 months, the DP which is updated in the system is overdue for more than 6 months, because stock statement has to be given by the borrower every month. Bank needs to update this DP every month. If it is not getting updated for more than 6 months, then it will be considered as NPA. Why 6 months? 3 months starting will be the basic time limit. Once 90 days is over, then NPA will, then overdue will start. And as per NPA category, overdue must be there for 90 days. So 90 plus 90. So total 6 months, 30 days, right? Regular ad hoc credit limit has not been reviewed or renewed for within 90 days from the date of ad hoc sanction limit will be treated as agar due date ke din. So let's say CC is generally given with a due date. Means CC is valid, CCOD is valid for 1 year. Generally in every bank, this will be valid for 1 year only. So after the expiry, they have to do the renewal. If renewal is not done, this is the due date, right? This is the due date, let's say 31st January 2021. This has to be done within 3 months. So February, March, April. So if it is not done up to 30th April 2021, this will be NPA as on this date. Right? Right? Next. The accounts are regularized before balance sheet date by repaying overdue through genuine sources. Can the bank ask for upgradation on this reason? Yes, possible. If the borrower is making the entire payment and on the balance sheet date, whatever payment has been received is through genuine sources. Means what? Generally, if fraud is happened through bank as well, if bank is giving another loan to repay one old loan which was in NPA, if bank is doing so, that is not allowed. Means what? विजय माल्या का ऑलरेडी एक अकाउंट है जो कि एनपीए में और बैंक उसको और एक लोन दे रहा है. बैंक is giving another loan to repay the existing loan which is in NPA category. If it is done so, then the old loan which was paid by the new loan, still it will be an NPA category. If the recovery which is there in the NPA category, NPA account is from genuine source, then only it will be upgraded. Otherwise, it will never be upgraded to the standard account. Next, consortium advances, individual basis, correct? Individual basis means what? Consortium means one or more bank are coming together to give loan. Generally, as far as big volume loan are concerned, generally the borrower is asking for, let's say, 1000 CR and bank is not having that much amount of capacity, or even if they have, they don't want to go for that much amount of risk. What they can do, they can ask for 2-3 banks, join the hand, give the loan. Generally, let's say Nirav Modi wanted 1000 crore, example. So SBI said, I'll give 200, PNB said 200, 300 given by Indian Bank. Likewise, they completed the part and they have given their total borrowing. And Nirav Modi got 100%, 1000 CR. Now, who will do NPA and at what time? This depends on individual basis. SBI will take their own decision. PNB will take their own decision. It doesn't matter that what is the practice followed by other bank. If the payment is not done to PNB, PNB will classify, irrespective of what the other bank is doing. If SBI is getting the payment of EMI, interest, principal, everything on time, SBI will never mark this account in NPA. But if in other bank, it is turned into NPA, then for my bank, if the account is regular, still I will consider as SMA. Why? Because this account is NPA in other bank. So there are chances that it may turn into NPA in my bank as well. So I will take the 200% precaution for this because it's a special mention account category. Unless and until this account is overdue for more than 90 days in my bank, then only I will classify as NPA. Up to that level, I will consider as standard, irrespective of what practice is followed by other bank. Are you clear with this? Next, other points for consideration of NPA. Asset classification to be borrower wise. Borrower wise means what? And not facility wise. This is the most important point. Let's say XYZ is the partnership firm. They have taken 2 loans. One loan is term loan, one loan is CC. Term loan account is NPA as on 1st March 2022. You are doing the audit in the month of April 2022. When you have seen the list of NPA, you found out that XYZ, Messrs XYZ partnership firm, term loan account is in NPA. Whereas the CC account, which is taken by the same borrower means what? Cust ID should be same. If the cust ID is different, then this clause will not be applicable. Are you getting what I meant to say? The point is very clear. The cust ID should be same means what? The customer is only one. And they have taken various facilities like term loan, CC, OD, or there are 2-3 loans, 3 term loan, different loans. So if one account is NPA, all other accounts will be NPA, irrespective of what is the position of that particular account. If the CCOD account is regular in payment, still it will be NPA. Why? Because other facilities are NPA. So this is the basic principle of RBI, that if a particular borrower has done non-performance related to any loan, then other loan, irrespective of whether payment is done or not, what is the technical NPA clause, you will not study at all. you will directly classify all other accounts of that particular customer, of that particular custody, will be classified as NPA, irrespective of the performance of other account. So how you will verify this? Simple. You can do this. I'll tell you the trick. Take the NPA sheet from the bank. Let's say you went to the bank branch audit on, let's say, 4th April. To begin with, the person, let's say you are having a team of 4-5. Divide the advances portfolio to one part. One person will be taking doing the verification of advances. One person will be taking care of probable NPA and NPA category, security, provision, and everything. All the working will take time. So he just need to take the list of the NPA as on 31st March 2022. Check how many accounts are there. Correct? Write down the custody ID in front of them. If it is there in the Excel sheet report, then there is no issue. Correct? Then take the total outstanding loan balance file, term loan and CC. Then after applying the VLOOKUP, you can check the standard asset list of this custody list. NPA accounts are having, let's say NPA list are giving 20 accounts and total outstanding accounts are, let's say, 1,000. So just verify this 20 accounts ka custody with this total standard asset which are there 1,000. So if you find that any custody of NPA category are having in the standard asset as well, then classify those assets and add those assets in NPA category. So it will be a MOC part for you. It will be a MOC part. And the biggest success for any statutory auditor is simple. How much amount of MOC is giving? What is the value is giving? Higher the MOC, it means that कि ऐसा नहीं कि आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया कि आपका फीस डिपेंडेंट है, MOC ज्यादा दिया तो ही पैसा मिलेगा. No, nothing like that. The point is simple. If MOC is coming, it means that bank has not taken proper due diligence at their level. They have not done the verification at their level properly. They have not done the books closure part properly. Correct? If they would have done, then this much amount of MOC would not have done. Correct? अगर उन्होंने proper due care लिया रहता था तो इतना MOC नहीं आता. Correct? They would have. It is supposed that they will see. If they are not taking care of it, then auditor will go and he will take care of it by way of MOC. As he can't do any changes to the balance sheet and profit accounts and NPA list given by the bank, he may add NPA accounts through MOC, right? If credit facility is backed by central government guarantee, ECGC and CGT-MSE, through overdue may be treated as NPA only when the government repeated its guarantee when invoked. Generally, this ECGC covered export credit guarantee scheme or CGT-MSE, correct? Through overdue may be treated as NPA only if the government revoke or invoke its guarantee. Generally, these accounts are supported with the guarantee. Means if borrower doesn't make the payment, bank may go for recovery through government option. Means government is saying that I'm giving you the guarantee for, let's say, 50%. So 100% 100 rupees the outstanding balance up to 50%. Correct? The government is giving the guarantee. So remaining 50% will be considered as NPA. Correct? But if this account, correct, overdue may be treated as NPA only when the government guarantee is invoked. Generally, guarantee will never come down. Guarantee will be fixed 50%. But अगर समझो कोई provisions के basis पे ये guarantee दी थी, and there are some non-compliance to the contract between borrower and government, then government can totally invoke this guarantee. So it means what? 100% guarantee which was there or 50% guarantee which was there earlier, that is revoked now. So now the normal part will be applicable. Normal rules of NPA. Correct? If it is satisfied, then NPA account will be done. Advances again, gold, shares, other government security and other securities are not exempt from this provision. Means what? Even if the advances is secured with the gold part, so gold loan accounts are also considered as NPA. This is the misconception between so many auditors that they see that sir gold to bank में पड़ा है, branch manager भी बोलता है कि sir आप please इसको account NPA में मत डालो because we have gold that is there with us, 100% security is there, please don't mark this account as NPA. No, there is no exception from this provision now. Correct? So even if it is gold loan, still it will be considered as NPA. Even if it is secured by shares or other government securities, still it will be considered, right? But if the loan is secured with bank FD, bank's own FD, NSC, National Savings Certificate, LIC, UTI, Life Insurance Corporations, the policies, UTI, Indira Vikas Patra, LIC policies are of self-liquidating nature. Generally, bank gives this loan against the assignment of these policies. Means the policy is with in the name of bank now. If borrower doesn't make the payment, bank will recover the money, outstanding money from the LIC or through FD. Correct? They have the option. So bank will never give more than 100 rupees. If the surrender value of the LIC is coming, let's say 100, they will not give more than 85, 90 or 95, right? They will always keep a buffer of margin of, let's say, 5-10 rupees. So even if the interest accrued and if it is added, the interest amount which is there plus principal, it will still cover the entire surrender value. With that belief, bank only gives the loan. If something goes wrong, then they should be in a position to recover the total overdue amount. Correct? And staff loan should not be treated as NPA unless problematic cases. Generally, the bank staff, he must have taken loan of, let's say, housing loan, car loan, whatever. Then the NPA provisioning will be applicable. Correct? But it will not classify that particular account as NPA because bank has the security. Uska salary bank ki deta hai, uska PF jama hai, gratuity wala jama hai. So bank has security related to that. And whenever bank gives the loan to staff, they do this verification. They do the calculation. What is the basic salary? What is the amount of PF? What is the amount of gratuity? And every retirement benefit plan total. Accordingly, they will do the eligibility. Then only they'll give the loan. Correct? So they will always think about one thing. If the particular borrower, if the particular staff makes any default, then in that case, do they have the security to repay this amount? If it is there, for that matter, they don't do this NPA. Right? Anyways, bank has the option to forfeit this amount. That's why. Right? Are we doing clear? Siddharth sir is going fine?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Other points for consideration of NPA. Where value of security is eroded by more than 50%. That we have already seen. Then directly account will be classified as doubtful. And if the security value is eroded by 10%, by more than 90%, means the value after the erosion is coming less than 10%. Means erosion is more than 90%. Either लिख दीजिए आप 90% plus loss, either 50% plus loss. If it is 50% plus loss, means value of security is eroded by more than 50%, then it will be under doubtful. Or if it is eroded by more than 90%, now let's say the value is hardly 5%. So it means that erosion is more than 90%. It will be directly classified as losses. Correct? So we are done up to this level. Next, what are the provisioning norms? Under standard category means the borrower is making 100% payment. There is no default at all. Principal is also paid, interest is also paid, proper. Still, it will be a provisioning. Why? Because bank consider that it may go in NPA. It may go. So better to have provision related to that. Provision is nothing but just a security part available to bank. Correct? If something goes wrong, then they should have a profit apportionment. Correct? जो भी ये जो provisioning कर रहा है bank, why they are doing the provision? If something goes wrong, bank suffer loss due to any particular account, then bank should have a provision related to that. Otherwise, bank financial position will collapse. Simple. Then the first category of NPA, substandard. Second category of NPA, doubtful. Third category, loss. Under doubtful, doubtful 1, 2, 3. So provisioning will also be different. So for standard, 0.25, 1, 2, 0.4% will be applicable. This is dependent on these following things. 0.25% for agriculture and SMA. Even if it is regular, still they will make the provision. 1% for commercial real estate. 2% for housing loan at a teaser rate. But 2% for restructuring, and other than these, all other accounts. So 99% account you will find under this category, the last category. Which one? 0.4% of the gross amount. The advances which are other than ABCD, right? So for that matter, this account is not applicable. Sorry, this category is not applicable. 0.25, 1, 2, 2. What will be the applicability? Directly 0.40 of the outstanding ones. Standard. It's not an NPA account. In that case, only this rates are applicable. But once the account is turned into NPA, then this clause will be applicable. In substandard category, if it is secured, then 15%. If it is unsecured, then 25%. Means what? Let's say the account balance is 100. Out of 100, let's say you have a security of 70 rupee and 30 rupees unsecured. So for 30, you will do the provision at 15%, and for unsecured part, you will do the provisioning of 25%. Correct? And then total provision 15 plus 25 ka jo bhi provision aayega, that amount will be considered as provision for that particular account. Correct? How you will do so? How you will do the calculation? Take the NPA sheet. NPA sheet, there will be a security part which will be written in the account directly. So the name, the outstanding limit, the DP, overall amount, correct, theoretical balance. Accordingly, the report will come. It's depend on which bank you're doing. There are few banks which are following Finacle. There are few banks which are following the SBI, the CBS. Correct. One software is by TCS, one software is by Finacle. Correct. So these are Infosys. So these are different reports. So you will get the report of security wise. So find out the security wise and outstanding balance. So deduct the outstanding security from the outstanding balance. Let's say outstanding is 100, security 70. You will get a column of unsecured. Then apply provision accordingly. For secured column, apply 15%, unsecured 25. Then get the total. That will be your provision. Then check whether the bank has done the correct provision or not. You have to certify everything NPA provision. So you better first check with the NPA provisioning norm, NPA classification. If you are satisfied, then only give the certification. Otherwise, you can give the adverse according to for this matter. DB1 25 to 100 means what? 25% for secured part in first category of doubtful. Second category of doubtful is 40%, unsecured 100%. DB3, irrespective of security, be it secured or unsecured, 100% it will be provision. And for loss, same thing, 100%. So it means what? Unsecured part up to substandard level only means first level of NPA. It will be 25%. After substandard part, under DB 1, 2, 3 and loss, all unsecured part will be 100%. 100% same, irrespective of security. Sorry, for this unsecured part. But in case of DB1 and DB2, if it is secured, only for the secured part, it will be 25 and 40. Clear with this? Next. Now provisioning norms. In respect of NPA balance of 5 crore and more, bank needs to formulate a policy for annual stock audit by external agency. External agency means what? Generally, they empower chartered accountants for this stock audit assignment. Correct? Which is not related to the borrower. Correct? They will do the stock audit in respect of, and in respect of immovable property, valuation is to be done every 3 years. Correct? If the valuation is showing erosion in valuation, let's say more than 50%, then doubtful, more than 90%, then it will be loss. So for that matter, bank has to take the valuation every 3 years. So whenever you are going for any audit, check a list, check the list of NPA and check the list of latest valuation rate. Take the valuation rate from them. If the valuation of NPA account is more older than 3 years, correct? Then in that case, it will be considered as, कि सर एनपीए है, करेक्ट है, मतलब उसका वैल्यूएशन हुआ नहीं, एनपीए वाले का सिक्योरिटी का वैल्यूएशन होना चाहिए था, करेक्ट, एनपीए तो है, बट इन दैट केस प्रोविजन विल गो मोर देन दैट. व्हाई? बिकॉज security valuation has to be done every 3 years. If it is not done, then security will be considered as 0 and 100% will be provision. Even though it is a secured account, still it will be a 100% provision. Why? Because they have not done the security valuation after everything. Simple. Is it going well? Next. Bank may voluntarily make specific provision for advances at higher rate. Generally, as per substandard, it was expected that 25 has to be done. Bank wants to go for 50% for XYZ borrower. Can they do so? Yes. It's up to them. It's voluntary, but generally bank will never do. Point number 2. Point number 3. On account of turning NPA, bank should reverse the unrecovered interest. Simple. That we have already discussed earlier. Whatever the interest which was supposed to be recovered for the pre-NPA phase, if it is not recovered, then only it will be reversed. It means what? The closing balance of that account will come down because it is reversed now, right? Continue to record such accrued interest in memorandum account. Bank will not forget about you, about your unpaid interest. Bank will make a point of that whenever you will come for settlement or whenever you will come with your payment, let's say there is due to COVID, the business was stopped, the account is turned into NPA. Bank was also on hold. Bank has given you additional time. You said that sir, lockdown khul jayega, mera office chalu ho jayega, shop chalu ho jayega, I'll be having a funds, then I'll make the payment. So with that belief, bank waited for almost, let's say, 1 year. After that, you came there with the repayment part. So bank will ask you, sir, ye aapka principal itna hai. Then this is your overdue interest. After NPA, we couldn't debit due to RBI circular, but your interest is parked into our memorandum account. Generally, it's an interest suspense account, right? So it is there. It's a contra entry generally, correct? So bank will take the calculation of basic principal plus overdue interest of NPA phase as well. Then total will be recovered from the borrower. Then only they will classify this account as standard asset, correct? Bank will never forget the basic part plus interest unless and until it's a OTS case, one-time settlement. Bank may give discount or a bit as far as interest is concerned, but principal will definitely be taken, right? Next, NPA. What are the basic parameters of an NPA? First parameter is financial level, as seen earlier, if overdue, overdrawn, and everything. Point number 2, non-financial factors are also there for NPA classification. This is the most important point. If there are inherent weakness in account, as we have seen in EWS circular, this is the EWS circular of RBI. There are almost 45 points: non-submission of original bills, frequent ad hoc sanction, poor disclosure of materiality adverse information, substantial related party discussion, transaction, liabilities appearing in ROC search report not reported by borrower in the annual report. Means indirectly bank is giving, the borrower is giving two different information to two different parties. For when he is filing the ROC annual return, he is telling them that there is an outstanding loan of 100 rupees. And when he is giving the balance sheet to the banker, he is saying that 0 loan is outstanding. So two different balance sheets is submitted by the borrower. It means that he is doing the fraud. If fraud is reported, then it's an early warning signal to the bank that please take care of it, precautionary basis. Otherwise, it will definitely go into NPA account. Correct. So if the severity of this clause is high, then bank can directly classify this account as NPA, even though the account is within the limit or within the DP or still regular in payments of EMI. Still, it will be considered as NPA. Non-achievement of DCCO. DCCO means date of commencement of commercial operation. The borrower has said that I'll start the operation, let's say from next year, 1st of January. But this commercial operation, which was supposed to be done, is not done by the borrower. So due to this reason, there will not be any operating revenue. If there is no operating revenue flowing to the business, obviously there will not be any payment to the bank. Correct? Bank was supposed to recover the EMI or the principal through commercial operations. If it is not started, obviously bank will never get the revenue. So it's better to go for NPA at initial stage itself. Failure to comply with key restructuring conditions. Generally, bank do the restructuring of advances subject to a few terms and conditions. If these restructuring conditions are not fulfilled by the borrower, then also bank will think of NPA. Even though the NPA clause as per financial parameters are not hit. Correct? So these are the most important factors. Correct? So whenever you are talking about NPA, don't just focus on financial parameter. You have to focus as well as financial plus non-financial aspect. These are also that much amount of, right? Should we go ahead? Right. Next, LFR. LFR is divided into 4 set: asset, liability, P&L, general. We will see all the clauses one by one afterward once we complete the case studies, right? So now we'll see the case studies. I hope everybody is there with me. Should we go ahead? Yes, Siddharth sir. Siddharth sir, is it working?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. So case study 1. In case of term loan, the borrower has prepaid a 12 months EMI. Matlab, the borrower has prepaid, advance mein payment diya hai. The EMI was supposed to be paid in 12 months. He made the payment in advance itself in April only, April 2021. Now you are going for audit for March 2022 ending, and subsequently has not paid any amount to the rate of term loan. Correct? No credit is done to the term loan. Whatever was supposed to be paid for the every month, he paid in advance. So whether the account is to be classified as NPA due to non-servicing of interest, the answer is no. The account will be considered as standard only. Why not NPA? Because concept of servicing of interest does not apply to term loan. Concept of servicing of interest is applicable only to CC accounts, right? Correct. This is not applicable to term loan. He has paid EMI. In the question itself, it is written that's EMI. It means that it's talking about term loan, and term loan may servicing of interest concept is not applicable. Point number 2, case study number 2. In case of CCOD facility, an account is operated within the limit. Matlab, sir, limit is let's say 100 rupee. Correct? Account balance is let's say 50 rupee. So it means what? There is no overdraw. There is no overdraw, right? Still, no credit. There are no credits in the said account since 1st January. Means January, February, March. Last 3 months. Last quarter of financial year. There are no credits in the particular account. Would such account be required to be classified as NPA even though it's overdrawn for a single day? Yes. Correct? NPA. Why? Because the criteria of no credit in 90 days is fulfilled. There are no credit in this particular CC account, hence the account will be classified as NPA, even though the account balance is within the CCOD limit, right? Case study number 3. Point number 3. In case of CCOD facility, an account is operated within the limit, means 150, same example, but summation credit in the account in the last quarter, means Jan, Feb, March, is less than the interest debited during the said quarter. Let's say interest debited is 200 rupee, interest recovered, let's say 170. So 30 not recovered, correct? What would be the classification of such account, especially with the background of COVID-19? Still NPA. No exemption given to this. Why? Because this account is out of order since the account does not have credit sufficient to cover the interest debited. As the interest recovered is not up to the level of interest debited, it means even if 1 rupee is not served, it will be NPA. Next, case study number 4. In case of CCOD facility, an account has credit balance for a period of first 10 days. First 10 days, they are having a credit balance during the last quarter, but does not have any credit during the said quarter. मतलब सर उसको CC लिमिट दी थी 100 रुपए की, बट उसका जो अकाउंट बैलेंस है, अकाउंट बैलेंस सर जी, अकाउंट बैलेंस जो है वो लेट्स से क्रेडिट बैलेंस है. Generally CCOD accounts are having debit balance. The account is having credit balance for the first 10 accounts, but during the quarter Jan, Feb, March, 3 months, there are no credits in this particular account, no single credit. So whether NPA? Yes, answer is NPA. Why? Even though there is a credit balance, still it will be classified as NPA if the account is in debit as at March end. Correct? Yes. So obviously credit balance tha, but बाद में Jan end, Feb end, March end. So these 3 months interest got debited. Correct? So there was a credit balance of let's say 20 rupees. Correct? Now interest debited let's say 40 for all 3 months, Jan, Feb, March. Now as on 31st March 2022, there is a debit balance of 20 rupees. How come 20? 20 minus 40 plus net 20 is still the debit balance. If at all there is 1 single rupee as debit balance as on 31st March 2022, then it will be considered as NPA. As there are no credits for continuous 90 days, as the account is out of order since there are no credits in the said account as on the balance sheet date, right? Now case study number 5. In case of CC facility, if the last stock statement submitted is of October, अक्टूबर 2021 का बोरोवर ने स्टॉक स्टेटमेंट दे दिया, करेक्ट है? Would the said account be classified as NPA due to non-submission of stock statement as at March 21? Account is no. Account will be still considered as standard asset. Why standard? Because sir, October का दिया है. Overdue कितने महीने का है? 5 महीने. What we have considered 6 months continuous. So after September there is no stock statement submission. In that case only it will be considered as NPA. The outstanding in the account based on drawing power calculated from the stock statement older than 3 months would be deemed as irregular, and as on March 2020, the account is irregular. Even we know that. But the irregularity is not more than 90 days. 3 months basic ho gaya, plus 3 months jo overdue wala hai, that should be there. In this case, 3 plus 3 nahi ho raha hai. So hence, it will not be considered as NPA. This answer, this case study will be standard asset only. Right? Next. Case study number 6. In case of CC facility, is short reviewed. In case of CC facility, which is short reviewed. Just a second. Yes. Short reviewed twice for a period of 90 days. Twice for a period of 90 days. Generally, what happens whenever there is CCOD account due date, it is supposed to be that renewal will be done within 90 days. If renewal is not done, then account will be turned into NPA after the expiry of 90 days, right? So generally what bank does, due to non-submission of document by the borrower or due to any other reason, shortage of documents is the major reason for short review. So what bank requests the borrower that, sir, generally when you will be submitting the documents, he makes the statement that I'll be making the submission by, let's say, within 2 months. So please give me 2 months time. My accounts are not yet finalized. Example. Correct. So audit due date got extended. My accounts are not finalized because renewal that time bank will be asking for latest financial statements, latest audit report. Right. In this case, it is not submitted. So what will happen? Bank will do the short review. If the short review is done, then account will be still considered as regular. Correct. But this can be done this can be done only once. If the bank is taking the option of short review again and again and no normal renewal is done, then in that case it will be considered as NPA. Why? Because renewal, one normal renewal has to be done. Correct. In that case, firstly, from July 21 to September 21, this is the first review, short review done by bank. Second short review done by bank is October 2021 to December 21. Would the said account be classified as PA or NPA? As on March 2022, the account will be NPA. Why? Because account is not regularly renewed within 180 days from the original due date. Correct? It has to be done at least once. Done. Next. Case study number 7. A term loan account has 4 EMI overdue. As on 31st March 2022, the account is having 4 EMI overdue. Generally more than 3 NPA, right? So subsequently, the entire overdues are recorded on 8th April. Means you went to the audit. Audit is going on. Sir, आपने बोला कि सर ये तो NPA में है. आपने इसको क्यों NPA में मार्क नहीं किया था? So banker says that, sir, we got entire recovery after 31st March, but before audit completion. आपका audit अभी भी चल रहा है. Sir, he paid on 8th April, and now let's say your audit will be completed by 10th April, example. In that case, what will happen? As on the balance sheet date, whether overdue is 100% recovered, answer is yes. Second question, as on 31st March, whether the account was technical NPA, answer is yes. So whether you classify this account as standard or NPA, the answer is simple, NPA. Why? Because whatever subsequent recovery, even if there is a recovery on 2nd April or 1st April, it will be immaterial. Why? Because subsequent events occurring after the balance sheet date will not be applicable to this clause. If it is a technical NPA as on 31st March, it will be considered as NPA, irrespective of what is the recovery status on 1st week of April or afterwards, right? Subsequent recovery in the same account would not make any difference, and they will not be account upgraded and would not have any impact on the asset classification for FY 21-22, right? Case study number 8. A term loan account had 4 EMI overdues. 4 EMI overdues as on 31st December. Correct? 31st December, it was having overdue of 4 EMI. Hence, it was marked as NPA on that particular date. Right now, by the way, as per the RBI circular, the latest circular which is applicable is 12th November 2021 and 1st October 2021. This is the latest given by RBI for prudential norms on income recognition, asset classification, IRAC norms, right? This is the latest circular. In this, bank has given one particular point related to day-end classification of NPA. Means what? Every day end, bank will process the NPA reports, and bank will check whether account is NPA or not every single day. Generally, bank does this process on month-end basis. Generally, this problem is there in cooperative banks, not in statutory body, because statutory bank has to check NPA on daily basis. But generally, cooperative banks, what they does, they keep on checking every month-end basis. So if you are doing a statutory audit of a cooperative bank, then must see this, because in financial year 21-22, as per RBI request, as per RBI provision, it has to be done every single month. Sorry, every single day. But if it is followed on monthly basis, then it's a non-compliance of RBI provision by the particular bank. So please check that. In statutory bank audit of nationalized bank, you may not find this point because it is taken care by the nationalized bank. So in that case, on daily basis, it is marked. So on 31st day, December 21, the account is turned into NPA and it is marked by bank as well. Subsequently, the entire overdues were recovered on 28th February. There are no overdues on the same date. Whatever overdue was there, already everything is recovered. Correct? So now what will happen? Would this account be eligible for upgradation to TA? Yes, simple. Because everything is recovered and this account should be transferred from normal, from NPA to standard, means normal category. Correct? Overdue portion of term loan has been nullified by way of complete recovery of overdue. Hence, it is to be classified as normal account, means standard asset, not NPA asset. So whether the provision is to be done? No. As the account is not in NPA right now, as on the 31st March date, if the account is there in NPA category, then only provision is needed. If account is not in NPA, means it is upgraded to standard, then provisioning is not required. Case study number 9. In case of working capital finance liability, if trade creditors are more than book debt and stock, means what? I have given you the example to calculate how to calculate the DP, right? For CCOD accounts, they generally do the calculation of drawing power with stock minus margin, net amount, they will minus the creditor, then net eligibility for stock, then debtors minus margin, net amount. If in this case, stock is let's say 10 rupee, debtor is let's say 10 rupee, total is 20, and whereas creditors are let's say 25, example. Now in this case, creditors are more than the stock. Creditors are more than the stock and debtor right now. In that case, is it a positive DP or negative DP? Negative DP. Why? Because sir, stock may say up minus karoge creditors, so stock is having negative balance. And even after adding the data, still it is negative. So the DP is still negative, right? Correct. But below the level of trade creditor as specified by data, would there be a DP available? Obviously no, nil DP. Why? Because it's a negative working capital. Question of ability of credit drawing power would not arise. Case study number 10. So in that case, if the overdue balance, if the account balance is more than the DP, which is almost zero, then account will be considered as NPA. Hence, DP calculation is mandatory. Correct? Case study number 10. Borrower had availed OD against property to the tune of 6 crore. Borrower had availed OD against a property. The property value is 6 crore. This was the primary security of immovable property of let's say 30 crore. Sorry, loan amount is 6 crore and property value is 30 crore. Correct? Subsequently, the said property was subjected to valuation and bank did the revaluation afterward, let's say 2-3 years afterwards. Correct? And at the time of revaluation, the account, the security value came down to, let's say, 10 crore, directly 10 crore. Correct? So it means what is the erosion level? 30 crore is the original value. Now it's 10 crore. So is it less than 50%? Correct? This is 50% comes to 15 crore. So is it less than 15 crore? Yes, it is less than 50%. So whether it will be NPA? Yes, NPA first time. Which category? Doubtful category. Why? Because the erosion is more than 50%. Simple. Correct? And the present value of the said property is 10 crore. Would this account be required to be classified as doubtful, even though outstanding balance is 3 crore? Correct? Still, yes, doubtful. Why? Because the realizable value has eroded more than 50% of the value assessed earlier as per straightway classification norms. Next. Case study number 11. A borrower had availed CC and term loan. CC is technically NPA as on 22nd, as on March 2022, whereas term loan is a regular repayment. So whether CC and term loan both will be considered as NPA? Yes. Why? Because you classify NPA borrower wise. You do. You are not doing facility wise. Correct? Facility wise, it's not considered. It is only borrower wise. Even though other accounts are regular in payment, still will be considered as NPA. As the NPA marking will be borrower wise and not facility wise. Then next part. Case number 12. ABC Enterprise is a partnership firm. ABC are the partner. Term loan of ABC Enterprise is marked as NPA. So ABC का जो account है वो NPA में जा चुका है. By the bank, but bank does not mark the housing loan availed by the partner A as the same is regular in terms of repayment and not overdue beyond 90 days. Correct? So their personal account is still regular, means standard. Now in that case, whether one account, all account NPA clause is applicable to this? No, because custody is different. Whether does the bank is required to also mark the housing loan of partner A as NPA? Will situation change if the property given as security for housing loan is taken as collateral for loan extended to partnership firm? So the first question is whether the personal housing loan taken by the partner of the partnership firm, whether this will be classified as NPA? Answer is no. Why? Because the custody are different. Because partnership firm का panel है, borrower जो individual partner है, उसका personal panel. Both are different. Hence, it is to be considered as borrower wise, means custody wise, not the facility wise. Hence, and both the people are totally different entities, right? So no NPA will be done for the partners. Both are different borrower and not one. Hence, borrower wise NPA is not applicable in the given case. Case study number 13. Car loan was given in April 21, right? And on March 2022, 2 EMIs are overdue. Correct? So you are doing the audit as on 31st March 2022. As on that particular date, how many amount of overdue is there? 2 EMI, not more than 3. So technical NPA, answer is no. But car got stolen on 31st March and it's untraceable. So as on the date of signing, what is the value of security? You'll be considering this value of security is 0. Why? Because it is untraceable and the car is got stolen. The recoverable probability is very less. Correct? So what you will do? You will directly classify this account as NPA because the security is 0. It's a loss asset. Correct? As you must have seen, the erosion in value of security is more than 10%. Correct? More than 90%, sorry. And the value of securities came down to less than 10%. Then in that case, directly you will classify to loss asset. So due to this reason, you will transfer this asset account to loss, right? This is how MOC looks like. Memorandum of changes. As I've already told you that we can't do any changes to the balance sheet and profit and loss account of the bank or the bank branch, right? So how you will incorporate the changes? Let's say the number of NPA given by bank are, let's say, 10 accounts having a value of 100 rupee. Now you have added 2 more accounts to NPA, which was not added by bank earlier, right? So in that case, what you will do? you will write down the numbers. Let's say two accounts has to be added to NPA. Hello. Is it working fine? Right. So for the gross NPA part, two accounts have been added by the auditor. So you will incorporate this in MOCs. And what is the amount? You will write down this. Let's say 20 rupee you have added, 20 rupee outstanding balance will be added in NPA account. So NPA ka agar outstanding balance badta hai, so if the outstanding balance of NPA goes on, obviously the provisioning on that particular balance will also go up, correct? So you will have to give two MOCs. One for account classification, you have to change the classification from standard to NPA, either from D1, D2, D3 or loss, or even in the change of category also you have to give the MOCs, right? So classification of advances. Let's say bank has classified that particular account into substandard, correct? And according to you, the technical category is, let's say, loss. So what you will have to do? Pass the MOC for that, correct? If it is standard, according to each NPA, pass MOC. Let's say bank has done less amount of provisioning. Let's say bank was supposed to do 15%. Bank did only 10%. 5% additional MOC will be done, correct? So for provisioning part, so this is the MOC list for income, expenditure, asset, liability, NPA, provisioning, classification, risk-weighted asset, and other item. Everything is given. But as we are talking about NPA sector, hence these three clauses are applicable to us more, because we have to change the gross NPA, we have to change the provisioning for that NPA, and the classification if at all there, right? So this will be incorporated by the auditor in his report. Along with independent audit report and LFL, he has to give MOC signed by him and cross-signed by the branch manager that he is agreeing to this, correct? Don't forget to take the signature stamp on all the working papers, whatever you will be taking from the banks, that it should be authenticated. First thing, your working papers must be authenticated, that it is taken from the genuine source, or if you are taking the prints, must check that it is supported with the stamp or sign of the concerned officials, either by branch manager or any loan officer or system, any person, right? Correct. And with this, you will do the working, then only give the final MOC with cross certified by banker, means the branch manager, and yourself, correct? And you will have to give the UDIN as well. You will have to give the UDIN as well. One UDIN for one bank, correct? If you are doing, let's say, SBI audit for, let's say, 3 branches, correct? So 3 branches will be given 3 different UDIN. As everybody knows, we have to give UDIN while giving the signature, while doing the signature. So let's say why I'm saying only one single UDIN, because you will be doing, let's say, hundreds of signing in the entire one bank, but you will not generate separate UDIN for separate audit report or certificate. You will take one UDIN and you will use that UDIN for all the certificate which you are signing for that particular branch. Let's say one branch is, let's say, FC Road branch, example. So for FC Road Pune branch, you will give this UDIN for all the certificates, all the reports and everything. Don't go for generating all the UDIN, because it will be a cumbersome process. Generally, bank asks for 30 to 35 certificates, audit report, MOC. Almost you will have to do the signing of, let's say, 40-45. Then it's not a possible thing for us. Anyways, it's a time-bound manner. We have to complete all the assignment within the time limit. So it's better for us to take only one UDIN. And this is given by ICA only. ICA has given guidance to this, that only one UDIN is needed. So this was all about NPA and their case studies. I hope I have covered almost all the things. As far as LFR is concerned, I will give you the reference. LFR was earlier, it was a very short LFR. Since 2 years, RBI has given new LFR altogether, whereas so many questions have been added which related to asset, liability, income, and expenses, right? These are the basic 4 categories. I'll tell you, almost more than 100 plus questions have been asked in LFR, P&L and general, asset, liability, profit and loss, and general, correct? So in general category, there are lots of questions. So whenever you are going for any statutory audit, be it cooperative bank, be it nationalized bank, you will have to give this report along with your independent audit report. You will have to do the checking of each and every question first. So whenever you are having a team of, let's say 3-4 people, divide each segment to different people, because one person cannot do everything. Otherwise, time limit, the basic problem, right? The assignment will not be completed within time limit of, let's say 3-4 days, whatever you have. If you are doing only one branch, then you have sufficient time of almost 10 days. Correct? Generally, bank asks for submission of audit report by 10th, but they will not allow you to come to the branch before 2nd or 3rd April. They will ask you to please come and do the audit after 2-3 days. क्योंकि उनका reports का काम रहता है, उनका closing का काम है, या फिर बहुत सारी चीजें. Because system doesn't work on the first 2 days initially. So better to go after 3-4 April only. Correct? Once you go, dedicated one person for advanced verification. He'll do the advanced verification. Second part, there will be one person who will be taking care of only the LFR part, because there are almost 100+ questions. He has to check each and every question, take the supporting documents of that. Proper filing is needed, then only give the answer. As far as SBI concerned, they ask for online reporting, but there are still few banks which ask for physical reporting. You will have to prepare the LFR report in your Word Excel format, take the print, stamp, sign, and submit. But as far as SBI online reporting, so you will have to type. So what I'll suggest, what generally we follow, we do the checklist pattern of LFR before going for the audit. So whenever for any question, let's say 100 questions are there for LFR, out of 100, let's say 40 questions need supporting documents from the bank. So what I ask from the banker, I give the checklist to them prior to audit. So let's say audit is allotted to me on 30th March or 31st March. I will give the checklist to the bank itself that I will be needing these documents. Please make it ready. If it is done, you can send it to me. If bank is not ready for the email, you will have to go there and you will have to verify. So check the supporting documents. If you have received everything, give the report accordingly. If you're not getting the particular information which is asked by you, give that report that no information was provided by the banker. It's better. Okay? If you're not getting the information, required documents, you can write down the negative remark related to that particular question. Correct? If you happen to get the supporting documents, if you are satisfied with whatever queries you were having during the audit, then only give positive remark. Otherwise, don't take any liability, because as far as bank audit is concerned, the audit job looks like very easy because 3-4 days work is there or a week work is there. You will be free for the entire year. Then no. If something goes wrong, if the central statutory auditor asks for any clarification, you will have to go there. You will have to give all the submission. And if your work is considered as wrong, you have not taken due diligence, you have not discharged your professional ethics properly. Correct? Why I'm telling all the staff articles and CAs? Because it's a part of our duty. If we do any kind of negligence to our duty part, then it may become a problem for us. Correct? We may be debarred by RBI or bankers panel. Then after that, bank will never give audit to us. So it's our basic duty to have proper supporting document. So in case something goes wrong in future, and if any inquiry comes, then branch manager will say, I don't have any data right now, because bank managers ka to shifting hote rehta hai. Correct? That time only your working paper will save you. Whatever working papers you have, because system will change every single time. तब statement generate हो रहा था, sir, अभी हमारे पास statement नहीं. Whatever crucial NPA accounts you are having, SMA accounts you are having, take the statements of them. Correct? And don't forget to take stamps and sign from the concerned branch manager or employees. Correct? Once you are satisfied with the documentation part, then only go for reporting. Then only give reporting. If you're not getting any particular information which is asked by you, do a mail to the ZO or their HO or the central statutory as well. Central statutory auditor को आप CC रख दीजिए, regional, zonal को आप mail कर दीजिए. Whatever queries you are having, that I'm facing this problem, I'm not getting this data, I'm unable to complete my audit, please help. You better be relieved with your duties. Otherwise, what will happen? If you are not giving report, they will ask you, they will bombarding with you a reminder. Correct? Sir, report chahiye report. Because they don't want you to verify as much as possible. They will be interested in less amount of audit because they want audit as clean audit. If you happen to do more audit, obviously there will be more queries. So they'll ask you for, sir, jaldi kar do, jaldi kar do. Correct? So you have sufficient time. Properly, you should divide your team. At least go with 4 or 5 people of one branch, 4 or 5 people team for one branch. Divide 1% for advances, 1% for NPA provisioning, SMA, every verification, probably NPA. 1% will be dedicated to LFR. Correct? At least you need 3 people team and 1% for entire supervision and team leader. So at least you need 4 people team for one bank branch audit. I'm talking about statutory bank branch audit of nationalized bank. Correct? Cooperative is a different ball game altogether. So there are 4 sector: asset, liability, correct, receipt and payments, means the profit and loss, correct, and the last part is general, correct. So you will have to give the remarks. So first part is asset. Under asset there are cash questions, correct. This LFR format is available on Google. You can verify. RBI website, that is uploaded. Generally you will have to, a better practice is simple: you convert this in Excel or Word, write down your expected documentation for this question. Third column will be what we do generally whenever we have to do the LFR reporting, what we follow. Serial, particular, this is the question which is asked by LFR, correct. Third point what I write down is documentation required. Then I ask these documents to him. I give this Excel sheet to the bank. Then reply from BM, whatever received. Then you write down your observations, correct. This will be your final observation after considering the reply and the documents received. And what you will submit after this Excel sheet is finalized, you can hide this and give 1, 2, 3 as final report, correct. If somebody asks you, let's say after 5 years, that on which basis you have given this observation, that time you must have working paper and the branch reply and whatever documents you have taken, whatever things you have verified in that particular question, correct. You should be supported with all the observation. Example, does the system ensure that cash is maintained within the effective joint custody? So what you can ask for, please tell me the name of 2 people who are having the joint custody. At least write down the name, correct. Branch reply ke column mein. Tell them to please fill up the branch reply column. Whatever question they are understanding, please tell them to write down. Why? If something goes wrong, if somebody asks you on what basis, then at least you can tell that as on the date of audit, we did the mail communication, that look at this is the branch reply. Branch only replied that these are the 2 people. And I have personally verified that these 2 people were there in the bank and they were having the joint custody. So up to this part, I can save myself. Are you clear with this? So this is very, very important, correct. Irrespective of who is doing the job, correct. As far as statutory audit is concerned, the team needs to work 100%, irrespective it's a principal or the manager or the article assistant or employee. Everybody, if one mistake is happening due to any person, entire team will support, correct. Next part, have the cash balance of ATM having checked periodical intervals. What you can check, sir, please give me the dates. You write down the branch reply, what are during the quarter, during the 6 month, in please tell me the dates on which you have done the verification, correct. Next, does the branch generally maintain carry cash balance which very significant the limit, because they will be having a retention limit. Write down the retention limit in your working column, correct. Take the cash balance report. If the cash balance is exceeding, let's say 10 days during the particular year, write down the remark that with the verification, we could conclude that out of 365 days, more than 20 days, almost 20 or 25, whatever the case is, more than 20 days, bank is having cash balance or more than retention limit, correct. Why retention limit is important? Because retention is linked with the insurance, correct. So hence it is advisable that bank should not have the closing balance of cash more than retention, correct. So this is how insurance cover is applicable or not. Balance with RBI, Bank of India, other bank. Generally, this will not be applicable for statutory audits or bank branch, correct. So whatever question which are not applicable, you can directly straight away write down in not applicable. Money at call short notice, if it is applicable, then only write down not applicable. Investment for outside branches India, obviously it will be not applicable to you, correct. Advances, then advances question. Whatever advances you have verified, whatever discrepancies you must have found in the advances part, you will have to give observation one by one. So the most important point is this: in LFR, you have to report how many accounts you have examined, list of the accounts, Correct. You have to give particular name, account number, what was the balance year ended, funded and non-funded. Fund means term loan, CCOD and everything. Non-fund based means BG, LC, bank guarantee or letter of credit accordingly. So you have to give total, let's say 100 rupee you have verified out. And what is the total balance of the branch? Let's say 1000. Now you can say 10% you have verified. You have to give this in writing. And please mark my words, whatever accounts you are writing here, you are taking the personal liabilities of this account. If something goes wrong, then you will be questioned by the bank that you have seen the accounts and you have only classified this account as standard. Whereas it was clear on the document that it's a technical NPA. Why you have not given the MOC? We accept that our branch manager didn't take the due care for this. They forgot to check this, but you were supposed to do the audit, right? You also forgot to do that. So bank can take action against you related to disciplinary proceedings against, as you have not done the due diligence, you have not taken the proper. You are not completed the proper work accordingly, right? So this is done. Then credit appraisal. Correct. These are individual question. If we keep on reading one by one, it will LFR will take at least 2 hours. Correct. So for that matter, I have kept the NPA discussion, the case studies more. And as far as LFR is concerned, I'll request you to please go through each and every question one by one. If you have any question, then you can write down to me. I'll give you my email ID, mobile number. Correct. So if you have paid any question related to any particular question, then you can ask me. I'll be pleased to help you out. Correct. Sanctioning, disbursement, every category is there. So accordingly, all the questions have been asked. Please download this, convert it into Excel, write down your own remarks, write down what you will be checking for that matter. Accordingly, prepare a list that for LFR, I will be needing 40-50 documents. Make a list, give it to the branch manager, take all the documents, prepare proper working notes, then only sit for finalization of report. Correct. MOC part will be done only after accounts finalization. Correct. If you find out any major irregularity, then you can point it out in independent audit report. Right. Correct. If you found out any fraud done by branch manager or by bank employee, you will have to instant report this to central statutory auditor. First thing, regional manager, zonal manager, whoever concerned. Correct. And also incorporate the material irregularity which is found by you in the independent audit report. Correct. And at the LFR, as on the last page, last question is also there. Any other irregularity which you would like to highlight to central statutory auditor, that also you can give it under this. Contingent liability. One question, if we go on discussing, it will take at least 2 hours. As I have less time. Correct. 2 hour time was given to me. So it's almost 10. So I'm done with my case studies, NPA, SMA part. I hope the session was beneficial. I have tried to cover as much as possible. Due to shortage of time, I can't cover entire LFR one by one. But I'll still request you to please go through once again. Please mark whatever your doubts are there in LFR or in NPA cases. Whatever there, you can write it to me. I'll definitely get back to you. Correct. So these are the questions of LFR. Accordingly, you will have to give the report. Correct. So, and along with this, so mark this RBI latest circular. This is the first circular, latest circular related to prudential norms of NPA. This is the 12th November 2020 on RBI circular. You can download from RBI website. Point number 1. Point number 2. This is the 1st October 2021 circular. This is of almost 40-50 pages. Correct. This is the master circular. Almost correct. So this is the latest 2 circular which you have to refer. Next part, LFR part and AWS we have seen. Correct. And most important, don't forget to refer 2 important things. Guidance note given by ICI for statutory bank branch audit. Correct. And RBI website. RBI website. There will be various case laws. I'll show you. There will be various notifications, circulars for subject matters. Whenever you are having any kind of difficulty, this is the RBI website. You can go and you can check the notification. These are the notification, master direction, master circular. Whatever the particular year, month, you can search from this level, correct? Or if you don't know the exact date, just type whatever the discrepancy, whatever the doubt you're having. Let's say for staff account, you want to search what is the RBI guideline related to that. Just search staff account. You will get the relevant circulars. So it will guide you very well. And whenever you're giving any remarks to the audit report, always give reference to the RBI circulars, correct? It will give additional edge to your report. It will give a better presentation to the reader, because your report will be scrutinized and examined by the bank plus central statutory auditor. Central statutory auditor will be doing the compilation of all the audit reports, all the stat audit reports, correct? Whenever he will be verifying all the reports, if anything comes as material misstatements or material discrepancies, he may call you. He may ask you on what basis you have given these remarks. He will ask you for the supporting document. That time you will have to go for a meeting as well, correct? So this is very, very important. So always give references to RBI circular, and for better understanding, detailed study, you can refer to the guidance note given by ICI, correct? Latest guidance note is also available. All the part is covered. What all you need to verify, even the LFR suggestion is also given, NPA suggestion is also given, AWS suggestion are also given, SMA suggestions are given, what all documents you should verify while doing audit planning, everything is given. Formats are also given by ICI. You can refer that, correct? And there are panel, ICI panel mail ID and contact number are also given. While doing the audit, if you happen to find any material discrepancy where you need any suggestion or help from any senior person, then you can ask to ICI. Even the branches are also having, let's say Pune branch, Mumbai branch, they will be having a setup related to query redressal. So there will be panelists you can ask to them. So this will help you out as far as execution of statutory audit is concerned. I hope the session was helpful. Whatever points you were there in your mind before the session, I could resolve as much as possible. Still, if anything is pending, you can ask me. I'll be pleased to help you out. Correct? These are my number. This is my number and email ID. Thank you so much. Once again, I give thanks to Pune branch, Satara branch, Sangli branch, and Solapur branch for giving me an opportunity to present my views on subject of bank branch audit. It will be a great relationship. Even after this session, whenever you have any kind of doubts or suggestion related to any sessions or anything, you can very well ask to me. I'll be there to help you. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Siddharth, sir.
Thank you, sir. If anyone has any questions, they can ask in the chat.
Or whatever questions you are having, you can WhatsApp me on this number or me email. I'll get back to you afterwards as well. Yes.
I think we don't have any doubts for now, sir. So we will now move on. Now I will call upon CA Shubham Nogaja, Vikasa Chairman, Vikasa Solapur branch, to give a vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Pawan sir. I think this is one of the wonderful session, and sir is completed all the parts better. जो डिस्कस किया है सर ने, मुझे तो लगता है कि बहुत अच्छे से डिस्कस किया है. सर ने बोला कि यार 2 घंटा तो कम गिरा है, बट एक्चुअली सर जिस तरह से आप एक्सप्लेन कर रहे थे, 2 घंटा सच में आपके लिए कम ही हुआ है, बट तो भी उसमें आपने बहुत सारा चीज कवर कर लिया. एंड मुझे लगता है कि सब तक वो अच्छे से पहुंच गया है और सबको समझ में आ ही गया है. तो भी कुछ किसी को डाउट होगा तो सर ने तो बोला ये उनका व्हाट्सएप नंबर एंड मेल आईडी तो दिया है, तो आप पूछ सकते हैं कोई भी वैसे.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to thank the Vikasa committee and the panelists, CA Vaibhav Modi, CA Rushikesh Wangde, CA Shreyash Saha, CA Shubham Nogaja, and our speakers, CA Sushant Karbhari, and CA Pawan Sharma for this wonderful seminar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We end our today. It was wonderful. The Sushant has and the Pawan he used all the technology to give a highlight in a customized way. That's very good. And Pawan sir, we need to learn from you how to do it that also.
Always welcome, sir. Always welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you.